Alright, I just heard a bird awake, so it means I can speak normally. Today's random ride day and it's ride number 20. Just filled up, all prepared, ready to go. And I'm just on my way to meet one of the new riders that's going to be joining us today. His name's Tim, and you'll meet him a little bit later. Anyway, I'll head to his place and catch up with him, and I'll touch base with you shortly. Well, that's a first. I've just sneezed in my helmet. It's not pretty in here. Woo. Anyway, we press on. Yeah, so Random Ride 20 has about 8 riders. It's funny, you know, I say 8 riders. You turn up on these days and all of a sudden there's 12 or 15 people that you didn't know were going to come along. I'm hoping that's going to be the case today. So as I said, the meeting point is at the Mount Kyra lookout. From there we'll head back down the mountain down south. We'll do a little tour through the Illawarra. By that I mean that we'll go around the lake, around the eastern side of the lake. So that'll bring us around through Warrawong down to Windang, and we'll chuck a right there and head down Reddell Parade and follow the lake all the way around to Oak Flats. From there we'll head towards Albion Park and on to Jamberoo. So my intention was to go up to Saddleback Mountains and look out there, but if it's windy and it's cold, it's probably not the best place to go to, so we might just stay in the township of Jamberoo, grab a coffee or something like that. Play it by ear or see what the others say. Someone's in a hurry. Yeah, quick coffee there, and we'll then head south down into Kiama, down towards South Nowra. I'm thinking that might be a good fuel stop for those that have come down from Campbelltown. And then we'll just follow the Princess Highway down to Lake Conjola. Now what I will do is I'll probably turn off the new road and follow the old road down to Berry, just as a little bit of a turn off and something different. Gets us off the highway then. And that should have us down to Lake Conjola for about 12 o'clock, and we're going to stop at the bowling club down there and have a meal and a beer or two. Should be pretty cool. And somewhere between 1 and 1:30 we'll probably get back on the bikes and head back home. My thoughts last night was that we would head back up when we get to Bomaderry, and we'll head up via Kangaroo Valley. The MacArthur boys can peel off at Robertson if they want to, and then we can head back down and home. Again, I'll check with the guys and see what they want to do, whether they want to go that route or just head back up the highway. Options, options, options. Plenty of options, which is good. Anyway, Tim and I will continue on. We're just down in Wollongong at the moment, just at going through the steelworks here. Head towards Mount Kyra Lookout and a little run up the mountain. Should be a bit of fun. Okay, just coming up to the lookout at the moment, and I don't know if you just saw that on the footage there. I had a bloody lyrebird run out in front of me. It scared the living shit out of me. But it didn't stop, it just kept going, which is good. The thing about riding through these sorts of areas is that there's plenty of wildlife, so you've got to keep your eyes peeled. Wow, she's windy up here. Alright, so we're just waiting for everybody to get all geared up. We've got Marcelo over there on his Tiger, we've got Mick on his Rocket, we've got Tony and his friend, partner, on the KTM. Got Naz sitting next to me, got Tim on the Vulcan 900, it's not a 750, it's a 900. And we've got Klaus over there on his Suzuki. And as usual, we're waiting for Marcelo. Whoa. Oh, who's that?
Okay, my friend.
Whoa.
I'll do the sweeper.
Okay.
Reggie's a bit scared of the speed.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'm not in a rush either, mate.
Alright, no worries. Ooh, hang on. Coming down the hill.
Huh?
I forgot what it's like to have a passenger on when you brake. They push up behind you.
It'll be good once we get out of this wind.
Oh, once we get down the bottom, it'll be bloody nice.
Yeah. Well, it's 4 degrees now, and down when I left home it was 8, so there's another 4 to 5 degrees down there.
Yeah. Well, it's warmer at home for us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got bloody. I just left my place to go get fuel, and I just ride down the road. I wasn't really looking at the speedo, and I got flashed by a highway patrol cover parked on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So I back off, slow down, and he gives me the wave.
Oh, really?
So I wave back at him. Hey, no worries, thanks, mate. Beats getting booked.
That's right. I had a lyrebird cross in front of me on the way up here just now.
Oh, really?
Little bastard.
They're pretty quick too, aren't they?
They are. They scoot across the road really quick, and they scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a little bit scratchy. The comms was really bad then. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about riding in a group, and some of the things that you've got to consider when you've got a group of riders all together, and most importantly, getting to your destination safely and all together at the same time. So as anyone knows who watches these videos, is that the planning that occurs before the trips is so important, in particular the communication. My goal is to ensure that everybody who is on the trip or on this ride has half an idea as to where they're going. The reason I say that is because we have had rides before where the group has become separated, and as a result the leaders of the individual packs haven't known where we were going and simply got lost. This happened some time ago when we did a ride up to Burragarang. Now, whilst there's an expectation that the riders do understand the route, as is generally the case, you will have riders that just turn up and are happy just to follow, and that's fine. So given that, we need to employ some basic rules and guidelines to ensure that doesn't happen. So what we do is, as you can see, there's no bikes in front of me, so I generally lead these rides, probably because I organise them. But what we always have and what we always organise is to have a sweeper. So on this ride today we've got 8 bikes, or 7 bikes. Now that sweeper, he will make sure that everybody in front of him is okay. Me as the lead rider, I'm always looking back, making sure that I've got sight of the riders behind me. And that's okay when you've only got 7 or 8 bikes, you can pretty well see everybody. But we've had rides where we've had 21 bikes, and you just don't know what's going on behind you. So one good way to combat that is, as a rider in a group, you have 2 responsibilities. One is to keep up as best as you can with the guy in front of you, or always have the guy in front of you in sight. Now, that's easier to say, because in some parts of a route you might have some quick turns, and you might have varying skills required to get through those parts of the route swiftly. So whilst it's your responsibility to try to keep up, it's not always the case. So what we do is we say, always keep an eye on the bike behind you. And if the guy behind you is slowing down or is falling out of sight, then you slow down. And that happens up the chain. So if everybody's looking for the guy behind them and they're always in sight and slowing down to ensure that they're always in sight, then the lead rider will never get away from the sweeper. I find that's the best way to keep the group together. Now then there's another issue. And that is when you're travelling through built-up areas where you've got traffic lights and, of course, traffic. And, of course, when you've got traffic lights and traffic, the group can separate as, say, the first 2 or 3 riders go through a set of lights, and then the next rider gets caught, and as such, the group separates. So of course what we do in that case is, as I mentioned before, if you're always looking behind you, making sure the guy behind you is always there, and particularly if he's been caught up at a set of lights, well, you'll just either go slow and wait for them to catch up, or you'll pull up somewhere up the road and making sure that that they do catch up. Another thing that we do, we don't do it a lot, but sometimes we do it, is that the importance of the second rider in the group. And as the second rider in the group, understanding your role. So if we are undertaking a trip where there's lots of turn-offs and we're heading through different areas and the group doesn't know where we're going, what will happen is, as the first rider takes the turn, the second rider will stop at the turn, making sure that everybody behind him gets through, so that the whole group has made that turn. And what he'll do then is he'll fall to the back of the pack, he'll become the sweeper, and then the next person who sits at the second spot in the group then has that same role. So me as the leader, I turn off down some road, second guy comes in, second guy comes in, and he sits and waits for the whole group to ensure that they have all taken the turn off. And that goes on and on and on. So with those two simple rules, watching the guy behind you, having a sweeper, and the importance of the second guy in the group, those three things will ensure that we all get to our destination together and no one gets lost. So we're just on the eastern side of Lake Illawarra at the moment, and you can really feel this the onshore breeze hitting us. So as I mentioned before, the winds were coming from the west. And as you get into this open area here where the water separates the escarpment and us, you can really feel the bitterness of that breeze. So there you go. As a relatively experienced riding group, as I said, this is Random Ride 20. Most of these guys have been on all of these rides, so we've learnt how to ride as a group. There's been a lot of learning on the way. But we've found that in these last couple of years that we've been riding together, that these little guidelines and little practices that we do all work quite efficiently. So we just had a little stop at Jamboree there and had a coffee. it's time to embarrass a few people. So,
Go for it, Tim.
I got heaps, mate. I got heaps. So you going all right, Tim?
Oh, fantastic,
Okay.
mate.
Enjoying
Fantastic.
the day so far?
So far.
Good on you,
A bit
mate.
fresh, but it's all right.
It is. Good to have you aboard with us, mate.
Oh, thanks,
Hopefully
mate.
you join
That's
us on the next one.
It's a pleasure.
Good on you, mate. That's awesome.
Many more to come.
Many more to come. So this
Can't
is the
wait.
steed. This is his steed. Hey, big 900 banger.
Oh, Black Betty.
Hey,
New contraption.
Oh.
new contraption. How are you, Michael?
Good, thanks for asking.
You
How
going
are
all
you,
right?
Paul?
I'm well, thank you. Alright, serious business going on here. Oh, here we go. Here's trouble with these two blokes. Hey, you going all right, boys?
Going really well.
Yeah?
Awesome. It's
Having a
nice
great
and
day.
cold.
Yeah.
Nice and cold.
Yeah.
Nice and windy.
Right, where's your lippy, mate? Last time we had this little chat before the camera. Oh, okay. Oh, is that right? Okay.
Having an awesome day.
Good on you, mate. No worries. Yeah, it's a little handy little thing. Give it a crack. Hey?
It's like man size.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, lovebirds.
Hello.
How you going?
We're going good.
Enjoying yourself?
Absolutely fantastic, my
Yeah,
friend Bungie.
Good on you. How you going on the back?
It's a little bit windy.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You feeling confident though behind him?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Might be a slower trip than usual though.
That's okay. We're not.
They're
in a hurry
not
anyway, are we?
used to me going slow.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I said normally I'm used to seeing him in my rearview mirror, but not today.
No, I've got brought out my passage side.
You have, haven't you?
Look what a woman will do to you.
Oh, that's all right. That's good. No, it's good to have you along anyway.
No,
Good
no.
Good to be here, Bungie.
Absolutely.
Cheers, mate.
All right, we'll head off soon, eh? And have some lunch. It should be good.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Good on you.
No problem. Sweet as.